April 2nd, 2025. What seemed like an ordinary afternoon track meet in Frisco, Texas, turned into a tragedy. Austin Metcalf, 17 years old, a student at Memorial High School, was fatally stabbed right on the track field, leaving friends, teachers, and family in shock. No one could have imagined that this young man, strong on the field, joyful in life, would leave the world in such a heartbreaking way. Austin Metcalf, born on July 31st, 2007, is a junior at Memorial High School in Frisco, Texas. With a 3.97 GPA, he wasn't just an outstanding student. He was also the MVP cornerback on the football team and a standout track and field athlete. His father once said, "That boy was my pride and joy." And his twin brother Hunter, also a teammate on the football team, shared how much he looked up to Austin. "He was the person I wanted to be." On the field, Austin stood 6 feet tall and weighed 225 pounds, a rock-solid defender. In life, he was a light in the eyes of his friends and family. The accused wasn't a stranger to success. He was a standout student, captain of both the football and track teams at Centennial High School, also in Frisco, just a short distance from where the victim studied and competed. With a 3.7 GPA, an impressive academic record, and 2 part-time jobs, he was once described as a shining example in the eyes of teachers and classmates. According to his huddled profile, he stood 5 feet 11 inches tall, about 1.80 meters, weighed 160 pounds, around 72 kilograms, and was a member of the Titans varsity football team, a position not easily earned. He was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the eldest of 4 siblings. He had no prior criminal record and had even received multiple college admission offers, thanks to his standout presence on social media. And yet, despite his clean record, despite being praised as a role model, he now stands accused of murdering Austin Metcalf, a victim he had no known connection to. Witnesses confirmed the two didn't even know each other. The incident occurred on what seemed like a normal morning, April 2nd, 2025, at David Kite Kendall Stadium in Frisco, Texas. The usually lively atmosphere of the interscholastic track meet suddenly turned chaotic. At around 10 a.m., rain began to fall and lightning struck nearby, forcing the event to pause. Students and coaches took shelter under temporary tents set up around the stadium. Inside one of the tents belonging to Memorial High School, where Austin Metcalf and his team were taking shelter, tensions suddenly escalated. Hunter Metcalf, Austin's twin brother, noticed a student from another school, who would later become the suspect, standing inside their team's tent area. Hunter asked the student to leave. But that presence sparked a confrontation no one could have foreseen, one with a tragic ending. Austin then walked into the tent. Words were exchanged. Witnesses recalled the suspect speaking in a confrontational tone. Asterisk, asterisk, touch me and see what happens. Asterisk, asterisk. As he spoke, he reached into his backpack, a seemingly simple gesture that turned out to be the signal of an unfolding tragedy. Austin didn't back down. He pushed the suspect off the bleachers, reacting to the threat. The suspect's voice rang out again, this time saying, asterisk, asterisk, hit me and see what happens. Asterisk, asterisk. In a moment of anger, Austin shoved him once more. And then, the fateful moment unfolded. The suspect pulled a black knife from his backpack and drove it straight into Austin's chest, a fatal blow. He then fled the scene. Austin stumbled down the bleachers, clutching the wound in his chest with both hands. He pleaded with those around him, asking them to call for help. But by the time police arrived, Austin had lost consciousness and was no longer breathing. Track coaches and bystanders rushed to perform CPR and keep him conscious. Hunter, his twin brother, was right there too, desperately trying to help bring his brother back to life. But all those efforts couldn't stop the unthinkable. Austin Metcalf was pronounced dead just minutes after arriving at the hospital. The suspect quickly turned himself in. When taken into custody, he was described as sobbing uncontrollably, repeating, "I was just defending myself. I didn't mean to. He put his hands on me. I told him not to." An officer reported that the suspect openly admitted at the scene, "I'm not accused. I did it." While sitting in the back of the patrol car, his eyes filled with anxiety as he asked, "Is he going to be okay? What I did, does it count as self-defense?" The incident sent shockwaves through the Frisco community, where Austin, an outstanding student, a star athlete, and a beloved son, was gone forever because of a brief, senseless altercation. One moment of lost control, one impulsive act, was all it took to send 2 lives and 2 families down paths they can never return from. After the shocking death of Austin Metcalf, the Frisco community called for justice to be served, and while his family remained deep in grief, the first legal steps were swiftly set into motion. The suspect, a 17-year-old student, was arrested and officially charged with murder. Although still a high school student, he is not being tried as a juvenile. Under Texas criminal law, anyone aged 17 or older can be prosecuted as an adult for serious felonies. And in this case, the charge is first-degree murder. He was taken to the Collin County Jail, where serious criminal suspects are held. His name quickly became the center of news reports, social media debates, and intense public discussion. How could a top student, a standout athlete with no prior record, commit murder? But what happened next left many shocked and outraged. On April 14, 2025, just over 10 days after the incident, Judge Angela Tucker granted the suspect release on bond, based on 2 key factors: no prior criminal record, outstanding academic and athletic achievements. This leniency sparked public outrage. His bail was reduced from $1 million to $250,000, a figure far lower than what the victim's family and the community had expected. He was placed under house arrest with an ankle monitor and must follow a strict set of conditions. Must be supervised 24/7 by a parent or guardian. Must check in with a case officer every Friday morning by phone. Prohibited from using social media. Forbidden from contacting or going near Austin Metcalf's family. Mike Howard, the suspect's defense attorney, stated that his client would be pleading not guilty. According to him, this was an act of self-defense, and that will be the central argument for the defense in the upcoming trial. However, according to District Attorney Greg Willis, because the suspect is still a minor, even though he's charged with first-degree murder, he is not eligible for the death penalty or a life sentence without parole. In other words, no matter how severe the sentence, he will still have a chance at parole in the future. Then, on June 24, 2025, a major turning point in the case was announced. The grand jury officially indicted the suspect on a charge of first-degree murder. This is the most serious charge under the Texas criminal justice system, signaling that the evidence is strong, the act was grave, and the element of intent has been carefully considered. But with the defendant still a teenager and the claim of self-defense on the table, this case will be more than just a legal battle. It will be a moral and legal test for the entire Frisco community. After being released on bond following Judge Angela Tucker's controversial decision, the suspect in the Austin Metcalf case quickly became the focus of a growing wave of outrage, both on social media and within the community. According to the Next Generation Action Network, Engen, a non-profit organization working with the suspect's family, the suspect had to be relocated to a secure, undisclosed location, as the situation had spiraled out of control. The number of death threats, harassment, and physical intimidation directed at him and his family has been rising at an alarming rate. Strangers repeatedly showed up outside the home, illegally photographing the family's property, some even posing as food delivery drivers to get close. Some individuals even went as far as mailing copies of Austin Metcalf's obituary to the suspect's home, an act widely seen as crossing both moral and legal boundaries. And it didn't stop there. The suspect's father was forced to resign after his personal information was leaked online. Extremists targeted the company where he worked, flooding its accounts and pressuring his employer to fire him. Judge Angela Tucker, who made the decision to lower the bond from $1 million to $250,000, was not spared from the wave of public anger either. She was doxxed, meaning her personal information, including her address, phone number, and even family photos, was leaked online, and she received numerous anonymous threats. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, launched a separate investigation, while the local sheriff's office began reviewing whether her personal information had been leaked illegally. Meanwhile, the Metcalf family, still grieving the loss of their son, asked for just one thing: to be left in peace. They held a private funeral for Austin on April 9, 2025. In the online obituary, the 17-year-old was remembered for his deep passion for sports and his unwavering team spirit. But the Metcalf family's silence did little to calm the public. On social media, the case deeply divided the community. One side stood firmly with Austin, demanding justice. The other defended the suspect, arguing it was a case of legitimate self-defense. Both sides spread misinformation and distorted narratives about the incident. The suspect's mother also stated that their family had received multiple death threats. Both families, the suspects and the victims, became targets of swatting incidents. False. Emergency calls that led to SWAT teams being dispatched to their homes in high alert situations. The peak of the tension came on April 17th. The suspect's family, alongside the NGAN organization, held a public press conference, hoping to explain their side and call for an end to the threats. What no one expected was that Austin Metcalf's father also showed up. He said he hoped it would be an opportunity for both families to come together in a human and constructive way. But just 40 minutes after arriving, he was asked to leave by the organizers and was escorted out by Dallas police, accused of trespassing. Dominique Alexander, founder of NGAN, stated that the father's presence was uninvited and called it a disrespectful act toward the dignity of his son, the defendant. Just a few hours after that tense press conference, gunshots rang out in front of the Metcalf family's home. But it wasn't an actual shooting. It was yet another swatting incident. A false report claimed an armed suspect was at the residence, prompting around 20 armed officers to storm the Metcalf home. The grieving father, still reeling from the loss of his son, was left shaken once again. I lost my son, and now I have to live in fear every single day. The suspect's family launched a community fundraising campaign on Give, Send, Go to cover legal defense costs. Within weeks, the campaign gained strong support, raising over $453,000. And that number grew to more than $515,000 as of May 1st. Notably, the Black community also made significant contributions to this financial support. Additionally, on GoFundMe, campaigns launched by Metcalf's father and the owner of the pizza shop where Austin worked part-time raised nearly $250,000. Jacob Wells, co-founder of Give, Send, Go, compared the case to high-profile incidents like those involving Kyle Rittenhouse and Daniel Penny, asserting that the defendant also deserves the presumption of innocence like anyone else under the legal system. However, on May 2nd, Give, Send, Go decided to disable the comment section on the defendant's fundraising page due to an overwhelming number of unacceptable, racist, and offensive remarks, further intensifying the already heated and volatile atmosphere surrounding the case. After the incident, the defendant's family not only faced emotional shock, but also became the target of an intense wave of online attacks. A controversial report from the Daily Mail sparked public outrage by falsely claiming that the defendant was living in a luxury $900,000 home and had secretly withdrawn thousands of dollars from the fundraiser for personal use. The truth is, the family has never withdrawn any funds from the fundraising campaigns. All the money is still being held to cover legitimate legal defense expenses. That false information not only damaged the family's reputation, but also exposed them to countless threats, insults, and toxic comments from online users. It didn't stop there. Right after Metcalf's death, an X account, formerly Twitter, impersonated the Frisco City Sheriff, causing a stir by spreading a completely fake autopsy report. The post falsely claimed that Metcalf died from an overdose of MDMA mixed with fentanyl, a dangerous and baseless misinformation. In a short time, this fake post went viral at lightning speed, gathering millions of views on X and other social media platforms. Given the severity of the situation, the Frisco Police Department and the FBI promptly launched an investigation into the impersonation of officials and the dissemination of false information actions that could constitute serious cybercrimes. On April 19, 2025, the group Protect White Americans held a tense protest right at David Kuykendall Stadium, the very place where Metcalf was killed. The protesters held up signs demanding that the defendant be returned to police custody until the trial takes place. Tensions escalated as violent incidents broke out. One protester sprayed pepper spray at another attendee, while a separate individual also became aggressive, resulting in both being arrested on the spot. The incident further stirred public outrage. However, Metcalf's father spoke out frankly and forcefully to the protest organizers. "You are trying to create more racial division rather than bridge the gap. I do not tolerate anything you do." His words were a powerful rebuke to the divisive agenda the protest group was pushing. Not stopping there, he also demanded that the group immediately remove his son's portrait from their website, a firm action to protect Metcalf's dignity and image amid the divisive controversy. Metcalf's case is not just a story about justice, but also a mirror reflecting the deep cracks within our society. Controversies, protests, and fundraising campaigns reveal a complex picture of prejudice. Amid the storm, the Metcalf family remains resilient, hoping for justice and truth to be honored. Regardless of the outcome, this story will forever serve as a reminder that in every circumstance, unity and compassion must come first.